A boating accident kills one person and injures two others on a southern Kentucky lake. What investigators think may have been a factor in the accident.
A series of tornadoes ripping across parts of the Plain States tonight. Emergency managers say dozens of homes have been destroyed.
You know, he lost his composure and he made a bad mistake.
A high school baseball game in eastern Kentucky turns violent. Witnesses say one player threw a punch at another.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 11.
Good evening to you. A day on the lake turned deadly. Tonight, investigators say a boating accident killed one person and badly injured two others.
Police say that boat crashed late this afternoon on Laurel Lake near the Flatwoods boat ramp. That's west of Corbin. Garrett Weimer is tracking the investigation tonight. He's in Laurel County with our top story at 11.
What was a beautiful day to spend on the lake took a terrible and tragic turn. A conservation officer with Fish and Wildlife says it was around 4:30 when three people on a boat, a father, his daughter, and her friend, crashed into the bank. We're told one woman was killed. Two others on the boat were taken to UK Hospital. Fish and Wildlife officials say no one actually saw the crash, but several people in a pontoon boat went by shortly after, heard them yelling, and stopped to help. Crews were out on the lake for hours investigating.
Much like investigating an accident on land, except for there's no skid marks to look at, and you just have to look at what you can.
Investigators did find evidence that led them to believe alcohol and drugs were a factor in the crash.
When you combine the environmental factors of being on the water, you know, in an unsteady environment where you're, you know, at compromised balance and dexterity to start with, along with the fatigue of being in the sun, and add alcohol to it, alcohol and water is a very dangerous combination on the lake.
And on this day, investigators say that dangerous combination proved to be deadly. In Laurel County, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
And because investigators think that alcohol and drugs played a role, they say it is possible that one of the survivors could face charges once they determine who was driving the boat.
Today, a radio debate between the four Republican candidates for Kentucky governor became heated at times. Much of the debate focused on abuse allegations that a college girlfriend of James Comer made to the Courier-Journal. Comer denied the allegations yesterday. During the debate, Comer placed the blame on another campaign.
Do you believe Hal Heiner was part of this story coming out?
I certainly hope not, but his campaign was, yes.
To insinuate that somehow we're behind this is totally and absolutely false.
I don't know if he's behind the Comer story, but I'm telling you, his people have been pushing this for a long time.
I don't deal in yesterdays, Matt, and I'm not going to deal in yesterday.
Comer also mentioned he plans to take legal action against the Courier-Journal for the allegations printed in the newspaper. Despite all of this, all four candidates said they would support the winner of the Republican primary.
Tonight, tornadoes have touched down in parts of the Plain States. In Oklahoma, emergency managers report dozens of homes have been destroyed, and they're still trying to figure out all the damage. Adriana Diaz has the latest.
Debris from dozens of shattered homes and other structures litter the ground in Bridge Creek, Oklahoma, after a series of tornadoes tore through the area late Wednesday afternoon.
Look at these things, folks. They are lined up. I mean, they are lined up.
Devastation was widespread as one tornado, estimated at a half-mile wide, raked the ground just south of Oklahoma City. So far, no serious injuries have been reported.
That is significant damage in the city of Bridge Creek, and they just got hammered. That's going to be EF2, EF3 damage, EF3 damage.
Other twisters were reported in Nebraska and Kansas.
It just came right over this hill. We got down in the basement. It actually flung the basement doors open and threw some tree debris and stuff down in the basement.
In Oklahoma, a building near the Bridge Creek Fire Station, as well as a daycare center, were destroyed. A hotel in Norman also sustained damage from winds estimated at more than 150 miles an hour. Heavy rains caused flooding in Norman and nearby Moore, Oklahoma. The rain and hail also made the tornadoes hard to see, not just for forecasters, but for residents in the storm's path. More severe weather is possible through the end of the week. Adriana Diaz, CBS News, Oklahoma.
Flooding is also a concern tonight. Some places received more than 6 inches of rain in just a few hours. Our weather here in the Bluegrass has been much calmer tonight. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey's watching that situation west of here, but also, of course, right here in Kentucky. Chris?
Yeah, and the severe weather across the Plain States, guys, really not going to impact the weather here across central and eastern Kentucky, but that is one heck of a tornado outbreak underway into parts of the nation's midsection as of right now. And Defender was tracking that earlier around 6 o'clock this evening. We were showing you some of the live sweeps coming out of the Oklahoma City radar there. And what we're dealing with now, numerous counties stretching from Nebraska all the way into the heart of Texas with severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings still at this late hour. What we're dealing with across central and eastern Kentucky, some clouds into the southeastern corner of the state have been spitting out some isolated showers from time to time. We've had a little sprinkle trying to develop into sections of central Kentucky toward the southeast, but especially that southeastern Kentucky corridor here. We did pick up on some on and off showers and storms through the afternoon hours. Those should fire back up as we go into the day tomorrow. Isolated, though, being the name of the game. Upper 60s to low 70s into many areas of central and eastern Kentucky. 68 Lexington, 72 into Richmond, 64 a little cooler into Mount Sterling and across the Danville area, Somerset down into the low 60s. How do we look heading into your Thursday? It's a mild start to the day as you're heading out the door. A little touch of fog, low 60s, already up to 80 by noon. Heading home tomorrow afternoon with thermometers into the mid and the upper 80s. Guys, focus of the forecast when I come back will be on the heat in the short term and some longer term changes. That's in less than 10 minutes.
All right, Chris, thank you. We have some new information tonight about a shooting at a Perry County home. Investigators tell us the victim, Robert Miller, has died. They say he and 61-year-old James Brewer got into a fight last night, and Brewer shot Miller in the face. Police are still looking for Brewer. He was charged with assault, but police say that charge will be upgraded.
Tonight, a scuffle at a high school baseball game has some people crying foul. An 18-year-old Pike Central High School player now faces an assault charge.
Witnesses say he punched a player on the opposing team, so now school leaders and prosecutors are investigating. Monique Blair is at the live desk for us with a story that is new at 11. Monique?
A shortstop punches a base runner from the opposing team during a high school baseball game. Now that shortstop faces criminal charges after it was all caught on camera.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
A high school baseball game between Pike Central and Lawrence County Tuesday night ended early after Pike Central shortstop Brad Elkins allegedly punched a Lawrence County base runner, knocking him to the ground. And Wednesday morning, that player's father decided to press charges against Elkins.
He's remorseful for his actions. Of course, he wishes it hadn't happened. It's a mistake, you know, and unfortunately he's having to deal with it right now.
Lawrence County school officials say the player went to the hospital to be treated for his injuries. And now 18-year-old Elkins faces a second-degree assault charge, which is a felony.
This is different than just your typical average ball game fracas, spat that we see sometimes. This crosses the line into criminal behavior.
Pike Central High School's principal says Elkins has been a model student athlete for 4 years and has never been in any trouble before this.
Elkins has the catch. Elkins stays on his feet.
He's an outstanding student athlete here at our school. He plays all 3 sports, and and it's a big district rival. And not that we condone what happened, but I think in the battle sometimes he lost his composure and he made a bad mistake.
Brad Elkins was arrested today and booked at the Pike County Detention Center. He bonded out shortly after he was booked. He recently signed on to play football at Union College. At the live desk, Monique Blair, WKYT.
Monique, thank you. The Lawrence County baseball coach says the 17-year-old player who was punched did not have any broken bones and went home from the hospital last night.
A young mother died this morning when police say a box truck hit her car in Nicholas County. The crash happened along Highway 68 near the Bourbon County line. Police say that 22-year-old Glenda Crump's car was rear-ended by another car. They say the force then pushed Crump's car into the path of the truck, killing her. Police are now looking for the driver of a red minivan they say swerved around Crump's car before the crash and may have played a role.
Change could be a two-way street for some streets in downtown Lexington. City leaders organized a public meeting tonight to discuss a study that looked into whether some one-way streets should be changed to two-way. Study organizers say they will recommend to the Urban County Council that North Limestone, North Upper, Short, and Second Streets should all become two-way streets downtown.
And we think in that area in particular, the benefits outweigh the cost. So better connectivity, less circuitous travel, it's easier to get places, better pedestrian safety because of lower traffic speeds.
If council approves the proposed changes, the city would then work on getting money to pay for the project.
What did the New England Patriots know about deflated footballs during the AFC Championship game? In 9 minutes, what a newly released report claims.
And then a jury has reached its verdict in the trial of a Lexington man accused of killing his girlfriend nearly 2 years ago.
An independent investigation claims it is probable that the New England Patriots deliberately violated NFL rules in the so-called deflategate scandal.
The team has been accused of using underinflated footballs during the AFC Championship game. The 243-page independent report claims quarterback Tom Brady was generally aware of what was going on. The report also alleges a locker room attendant went into a stadium bathroom after referees inspected the footballs and deflated them. The Patriots deny any wrongdoing, but said they will accept the NFL's findings in an ongoing investigation.
A jury has convicted a Lexington man accused of killing his girlfriend. Prosecutors say the jury found Chico Rucker guilty of manslaughter, evidence tampering, and fraudulent use of a credit card. He had been charged with murder. Police say he killed Elmia Ferris in 2013, then left her body behind at an apartment complex on Marietta Drive. The jury recommended a 20-year sentence for Rucker.
Lexington police officers gathered tonight to honor all officers killed in the line of duty. They held a candlelight vigil tonight at the Peace Officers Memorial in Phoenix Park. The service included a moment of silence and a wreath was laid at the memorial. The memorial was held as part of National Police Week. A Laurel County mother is asking for help setting up a tribute to her Marine son. In 2010, Matt Jackson was killed while serving overseas just before his 23rd birthday. His gravesite has the standard military footstones, but his mother wants to put in a headstone, which would likely cost several $1,000s.
I would like to have his face etched into it, and then beloved son, brother, and husband in that order.
She has set up a GoFundMe page to raise money. We have a link to that page on our website, WKYT.com.
We're tracking the investigation into a fire that damaged a Lexington home tonight. The fire started about 6 o'clock tonight on Honey J Court off Center Parkway. Firefighters say the man living in a duplex left some food on the stove, which overheated and caught fire. They say he called for help and used a garden hose on the fire until the firefighters arrived. They put the fire out quickly and kept the fire from spreading to the neighboring unit. No one was injured.
A driver's mistake caused a lot of damage to an insurance agency in Richmond. Managers of Kentucky Farm Bureau say a customer hit her car's gas pedal instead of the brake while in the parking lot. The car crashed through a wall and ended up inside the building. One of the employees ended up pinned between the car and a wall, but she was not seriously injured. The driver wasn't injured either. The office was able to reopen about an hour after the accident.
No major structural damage. They didn't hit any of the firewalls, come through the front glass, damaged 2 or 3 desks, and ripped through my wall in my office, which is not a load-bearing wall, so we didn't have to call in structural engineers, anything like that. So we've got it all ripped out, and hopefully we'll be back to normal in 2 to 3 weeks.
Richmond police say the driver of the car was not cited because it was just an accident.